My name's Darren Tankey. I'm a senior technician at the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology here in Drumheller, and I'm the technician that's going to prepare this specimen. These large rocks here were found during a pipeline trenching operation in Spirit River, Alberta in the fall of 2013. We hauled out these giant rocks, almost 25,000 pounds of rocks, which contain most of the skeleton of a duck-billed dinosaur, but 12 tons of those rocks contain the skull. So we want to have the skull taken out of the rock because the skull tells us the most information scientifically about what type of animal it is, how it's related to other animals of the same family. The problem is that these rocks are too big for us to manhandle on our own. Thanks to CanWest concrete cutting and coring, they've come here today to reduce these blocks in size for us. We tried to do it by hand. We were able to get about 4,400 pounds of rock off by hand, but it took us many, many weeks of dedicated, hard work to do. And in one cut, they did what we took weeks to do in 20 minutes. Now that we have this block reduced in size to a size more manageable for us, we'll be using a rock saw just like this to cut a series of lines to this depth right here, a series of lines along here. And the reason we would do that is so we can take a hammer and just knock each piece of rock out one after the other. And that's a quick way to reduce the block even further. This little mark right here is the only point on the two rocks that go back together. When the rock broke many thousands and thousands of years ago, water has been dripping through here, dissolving away the rock and the bone. So because the skull was split right down the middle, we don't know if we're missing that much of the skull or that much of the skull. So if we make a mold and cast of this face, when we put the two casts together, we'll be able to see the gap in between, and we'll know if we're missing a couple centimeters or half a centimeter. Thanks to CanWest Concrete, this block is now ready to do more preparation on. What we see here is a cast of a duck-billed dinosaur skull, 1:1 scale replica from Mexico, and we're using it just as general reference here. We measured the skull inside this rock before we covered it over with latex rubber here, and we know that the skull inside is almost exactly the same size as this skull here. Now, what we don't know is if the skull in the rock has a crest or not. So that is something that we'll find out eventually as we chip away all the rock. Here we have a latex covering. This was looked like sour cream. You just brush it on and it cures and forms a rubberized surface. And I put that on to protect the skull from any water spray, or as you see here, drips of mud that have come down. We'll just peel a little bit off here. See how easy it is to come off. And you can see the bone has survived quite well from the cutting procedure. It's a lot of work. This rock is extremely hard and the bone is extremely fragile. So we're gonna need a lot of glue, a lot of patience, and probably around 14 or 15 months time before this skull is completely out of the rock.